Welcome back, Rams, to CTV's Local Beats. I'm Nate Day. My partner in crime, Aubrey, is out after apparently being slammed to the ground in basketball for 4 hours last night, so the lovely Lauren Wilson is taking her place. Think you can fill her size 8 Adidas?
I'll definitely try, Nate. But if I mess up her news section, let's not tell her, okay?
I can't promise that.
Oh boy. Okay, well, tonight we have an interview and performance with Ally Westover. Then later you'll get to see Nate and Aubrey in action in their segment Beats on the Streets.
But before we get into that, why don't you give us an update on some music news?
Thanks, Nate. Let's start off with congratulating Cardi B, who is pregnant with her first child with fiancé Offset. The last few weeks have been pretty exciting for her. She announced her pregnancy on Saturday Night Live during a performance promoting her new album, Invasion of Privacy, which dropped just the day before. The Beatles' Yellow Submarine will be returning to theaters for its 50th anniversary beginning this July. This is not the only resurfacing of the classic musical movie. Mad Magazine editor Bill Morrison is set to produce a comic book adaptation of the film, and it's expected to be out sometime later this year. Not to steal your thunder, Nate, but here's a fun fact about music history. The Beatles actually didn't voice themselves in the movie. Over 200 of Linkin Park's used instruments will be auctioned off to benefit the band's Music for Relief nonprofit, as reported by Rolling Stone. The instruments include guitars, keyboards, a megaphone, samplers, and other music gear from the band's own personal collection. It's fitting to see them giving back, especially considering that just last month would have been lead singer Chester Bennington's 42nd birthday. I just love this and the band, and I hope they Facebook Live the auction. The remaining members of Linkin Park are definitely making Chester proud. Spring has officially sprung in the music world, and that means several musicians are releasing new music. Country singer Casey Musgraves released her most recent studio album, Golden Hour. So far, the album has been met with critical acclaim, with some referring to it as one of the best albums of this year so far. One-man band's Panic at the Disco is set to release their next album, Pray for the Wicked, June 22nd. The music video to their first single, Say Amen, Saturday Night, is actually the prequel to their song, This Is Gospel, which was put out 5 years ago, with the third installment of the trilogy being off of their last album, which was 2 years ago. I honestly don't know how one man can be so talented. Brendan Urie, how do you do it? And now on to what is probably the most talked about EP in a really long time. My Dear Melancholy by The Weeknd. This EP has been on everyone's mind since its release barely 2 weeks ago. Honestly, you guys, this album is really intense. There's so much to unpack here with this 6-song EP. First off, I'm happy to see that he isn't mincing words over the apparent toxic breakup he experienced with his former Disney star ex. In one song, he sings how this particular ex would prefer the toxic Sorry singer over him. In another, he openly admits that he would much rather have spent those months with his Victoria's Secret model ex. I thought his version of Dirty Diana took my breath away, but his songs like Call Out My Name and Wasted Time proved to me yet again The Weeknd is one of the most talented artists of our generation.
I can't argue with that. It truly is a great EP. Stay tuned, Rams. We'll be right back with last week's interview and performance with Ally Westover.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Hey Rams, welcome back. Today we've got a very special treat for you. We've got Ally Westover, who's going to play some music.
So let's get right to it.
So this first song I'm going to play for you guys is an original. This one is called Whenever You're By My Side. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. You make it so easy. You're just so much fun to be around. If I had it my way, I'd see you a little more than I do now. You have a tight schedule, but I promise I understand. It just makes it a little more special when I finally get to hold your hand. Oh, I love holding your hand. And being with you, the time flies by. Like a favorite carnival ride. And as soon as it's over, I'll pull you closer to let you know I had the best time. An hour south of Denver, it only gets better whenever you're by my side. Whenever you're by my side. With you it is simple. You and I, we both know how we feel. Your voice is so gentle. I'm thinking that this might be something real. I'll see you in a few weeks and daydream till the day you arrive. Because I know that you make my two cheeks hurt from your jokes and your laugh while you smile with your eyes. Did I mention I can't wait till you arrive? And being with you, the time flies by. Like a favorite carnival ride. And as soon as it's over, I'll pull you closer to let you know I had the best time. An hour south of Denver, it only gets better whenever you're by my side. Whenever you're by my side. La da da da. La da 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 Being with you, the time flies by. Like a favorite carnival ride. And as soon as it's over, I'll pull you closer to let you know I had the best time. An hour south of Denver, it only gets better whenever you're by my side. Whenever you're by my side. Alright, so the next one I'm gonna play for you guys. Let's see, which one do I want to go? Let's try Why Can't I Let Go? I'm going to check my tuning. Sounds good. Alright. should have seen the signs from you. Tried to control every single thing I do. Too bad love makes you blind through and through. You had me in a hold, and there's no way I could have moved. So why can't I let go? I wish you could get lost, but your face is on replay. It damaged my soul. I wish I could be whole, but all this pain has debilitated me from feeling free. I don't feel free. And I know that I'm better off without you, but I swear that don't make it easier. 'Cause every song I write's about you, and though I know that there's no use, and I need to accept the truth that I need to let go, and you need to get lost. Your pretty face, it don't vindicate. Would you damage my soul? With you I wanna be whole. You caused so much pain, never again. So I need to let go, and you need to get lost, because your face is on replay. It damaged my soul. I won't ever be whole. You caused so much pain. I need to let go.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
Hey Rams, we're back with Ally Westover, who just gave us some fantastic performances. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got started in music?
Okay, so I started writing songs, I would say back, I think in 5th grade is when I wrote my first song.
Wow.
And I was just super inspired by, I love listening to Taylor Swift. She was my favorite ever, and she's still, honestly, I think she's still a pretty great musician. But yeah, so I just listened to a lot of her stuff, and I was like, I want to be like her. So I just started writing songs on a notebook in my bedroom about, my very serious 5th grade relationships. And, yeah, so I started doing that. And then my dad was in a band whenever he was around 20s, 30s, and so he taught me guitar, and I still don't really know a whole lot on guitar. I just know some chords, but yeah, so I learned guitar, and then I learned drums as well. And so I just kind of messed around with that, and I just kept writing because it was a great way to express how I was feeling and everything. So, yeah.
Absolutely. That's so awesome. What was your the first song that you wrote in 5th grade? What was it called?
I think it was called OMG.
Yeah, that sounds so awesome. Do you remember any of the lyrics?
Let's see.
Besides OMG.
There was one also that I wrote called Skater Park, because there was some guy I met at a skate park.
Cool.
Yeah, and I wish I could remember some of the lyrics. But I guess like the point that like really got me into like the music, I guess like really got me thinking like, okay, this is something that I want to, you know, keep pursuing and everything, was in 8th grade, I wrote this song. So in 8th grade, I wrote this song about this, another, you know, serious relationship in 8th grade that I
Yeah, absolutely.
joking, of course. But yeah, so I wrote the song, and I sent it out to this guy that I had just broken up with, and I was like, this is, you know, this is why I broke up with you, blah, blah, blah. Just very like savage, I know. I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, Ally. But then he was like, wait, this is so good. And then he like sent it out to like the whole school, so it just like went viral around my school, and everyone was like, they're like, whoa, like you're really good. And then I was like, oh, I guess I'm kind of good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying I'm great, but I'm just like, people liked it, so that was really cool.
That's awesome.
And I just kept doing stuff like that.
That's so cool. Well, we think you're great.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I think
how about,
you guys are great.
you mentioned Taylor Swift. What about some other influences on your music?
Yeah, I would say Jewel. She's like an older one. I really like her stuff. I love John Mayer. John Mayer is my like favorite ever. And Casey Musgraves, you guys mentioned her earlier in the show. I love her songwriting, it's incredible. Norah Jones a little bit. I don't know, I really don't listen to that much music. I really just play my own. Like, it's kind of weird, so.
Good for you. No, that's awesome.
It's weird.
And it's cool because you kind of look like Jewel, too.
Oh,
so
well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Kind of a double whammy, minus the snaggle tooth that she has, I guess.
Thanks.
So I want to talk a little bit about the songs that you were playing for us earlier. Can you tell us were those serious middle school relationships as well?
Not quite. So let's see. What were the songs? So each song is about a different person, and the first one that I wrote, Whenever You're By My Side, I wrote that this summer, and I just met this really cool guy, and we had so much fun together, and I was able to like, I don't know, like writing happy songs is really hard. I don't know why that is, but it's like, I guess whenever you're upset, like it's just so easy to like pour out your emotions, but whenever you're happy, it's like you just want to live in the moment, and you don't want to, I don't know, like you just don't really think about it as much. So I'm really proud of that one because I feel like it's my first like truly really happy song I've written, like a happy love song. So yeah, so that song is really special to me. I want to add some harmonica to that. I feel like it'd be a nice touch.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
I
have the whole
harmonica.
like the Bob Dylan thing going on.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, so I plan on doing that. And then the second song, Why Can't I Let Go? That was about a serious relationship, like my only relationship I've ever had. I was going through a breakup. I've never, only ever gone through one breakup, and that was insanely hard. And I wrote a song like, why can't I let go of this? It's really hard. Yeah, so that's, a very real song. I have a lot of those songs that are just super deep and real, and I really treasure those because, they're raw and they're honest, and I think that's really special.
Absolutely.
So. And then the last one I wrote in high school. It's called No Man, and that song honestly has gotten me through so many things since when I wrote it back then. It's like, it's kind of become like my anthem almost. Like, I don't need a man to tell me who I am. Like, it's a great empowerment, independent song about being, getting your stuff done and just being yourself and everything. So.
Awesome. Well, if our viewers feel so inclined, where can they check out your music?
So I have a SoundCloud, soundcloud.com, /Ally Westover, and I have an Instagram, just my name, that I post some like Instagram stories of me singing and everything. Like every now and then I'll post a video. And I've been really trying to get out more into the music scene in Fort Collins. I had a gig at, what was it called, Starry Night Cafe a couple weeks back, and that was really fun. And I'm trying to think if I have anything else coming up. I don't think anything specifically lined up, but I am always trying to get out there and play some shows. And I did a little bit in Colorado Springs too at Swirl Wine Bar. So I don't know, just I'm around.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming and playing music and speaking with us.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we'd love to have you here.
Okay, so we drowned the fire.
Yep.
Stirred it. Drowned it again. And now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. Already posted it.
are listening to 90.5 KCSU Fort Collins with DJ Mean Beats,
DJ Nightshade, DJ Wildcard. Music to me is one of the best creative outlets that I can think of. An escape from the real world.
Music to me is an expression of love.
To go from like folk to hip hop to like classic rock, 1960s bossa nova. With music, there's like no boundaries.
I work here because I love music, and you do too.
Hey Rams, we're back with another lesson in music history. I know how you love to hear me drone on and on about this stuff, so let's dive right in. Today's the anniversary of the Supremes recording their song Where Did Our Love Go, which would go on to become their first #1 hit in the United States. The Supremes would go on to become Motown Records' most successful act and America's most successful vocal group to this day. Without the Supremes, we wouldn't have artists like Whitney Houston, Beyonce, or SZA, so we better raise a glass to those ladies. On this day in 1975, Aerosmith released their third studio album, Toys in the Attic. This became their most successful album ever and featured the song Walk This Way, which would later be sampled in the Run DMC song of the same name, which would later kickstart the worldwide obsession of hip-hop music. At this point in 1965, the British invasion was in full swing. Freddie and the Dreamer, Wayne Fontana, Herman's Hermits, and of course the Beatles were dominating the charts, and would continue to do so for 7 weeks straight. As usual, I like to throw in a weird story or two, so here goes. Yesterday was the anniversary of the Doors keyboardist dragging lead singer Jim Morrison off to the stage after he asked the audience if they'd like to see his genitals. And I don't really know what else to say about that. Tomorrow's a huge day for music history. It's the day Bill Haley and the Comets recorded the song Rock Around the Clock. The song is widely considered to be the song that put rock and roll on the map, even though artists like Fats Domino had been around for more than 10 years already. Regardless, the song changed the world, or at least the course of music history. My producer is a really big fan of the singer Selena, so it's worth noting that tomorrow is Selena Day, as designated by George W. Bush, who was the governor of Texas at the time. Tomorrow is also the anniversary of Mariah Carey releasing the album The Emancipation of Mimi, which went platinum 6 times in less than a year. To be clear, she sold 6 million albums in less than 365 days. Talk about emancipation. One last thing before I go, I'd like to wish a happy birthday to Brendan Urie, the one-man band Panic at the Disco. And be sure to check out YouTube for our full interview and performance with Ally Westover. Thanks, Rams.
Thanks, Nate. Now, I know it's April, but that doesn't mean we're going to overlook the fact that last month was International Women's Month. Here's our list of 5 iconic female artists who have changed the game in their respective genres. Number 5 is an artist we lost too soon, Aaliyah. At just age 12, Aaliyah signed with Jives Records. She went on to release just 3 studio albums before her death in a plane accident after filming her music video to Rock the Boat. Number 4 is my girl Miranda Lambert. She's a country singer that's tough as nails with a music career to back up her personality. She's won numerous awards, and despite going through a very public breakup, she still managed to put out a certified platinum album, which proved nothing can hold her down. Number 3 is post-punk singer Siouxsie Sioux. She is known for being the lead singer of the band Siouxsie and the Banshees. Along with her overwhelming impact on the funk scene, she's influenced bands from Joy Division to Jane's Addiction, and even Bono has cited her as being an inspiration to him. Number 2 is Sade. Her voice is the literal embodiment of silk. And we wouldn't have modern singers like Kali Uchis or Carly Rae Jepsen if it wasn't for Sade. Just this year, she released her first single in years for the movie A Wrinkle in Time. And last but certainly not least is the love of Nate's life, Stevie Nicks. I could probably write a thesis paper on her, but I'll keep it short. Nicks revolutionized the rock genre for women and wrote timeless classics like Edge of 17 and Landslide, which she actually wrote while in Colorado.
For our next and final list for tonight, we've taken into consideration that this month is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. This month is the 17th anniversary of SAAM with the theme Embrace Your Voice. Sexual assault isn't an easy topic to discuss, but it's one that should be and is discussed in music. We've come up with a list of 5 songs that recognize the reality of assault. Number 5 is Quarterback by Kyra Isabella. Normally, country singers tend to shy away from political topics, but Isabella tackles how more often than not, assailants use their privilege and popularity to get away with the crimes they commit. Number 4 is Polly by Nirvana, a precursor to an even more intense song written by the band. Frontman Kurt Cobain never shied away from unfavorable topics and chose to write this song about a victim of kidnapping and rape. Till It Happens to You by Lady Gaga is coming in at number 3. This song was written for the documentary The Hunting Ground. The song is powerful because it proves how hard it is for victims to express their emotions around being attacked, because no one can truly understand what it's like to go through that. Number 2 is His Story by TLC. Similar to Quarterback, this song is also about a he said, she said story where the assailant is perceived as being more credible than the victim. This one goes a step further by explaining how frustrating it can be to come forward. Number 1 is Praying by Kesha. Over the last few years, Kesha endured a legal battle against her former producer, Dr. Luke. The song is about dealing with trauma, healing, and overcoming hopeless feelings most survivors experience.
The majority of those songs were aimed towards a female victim, but male victims definitely do exist, and their stories are just as valid. We'll
be right back.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll be right back.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Listen.
The weather is warming up, which means more music. Here's what to expect this month, music-wise, around town. Jalen Crossland with the Sugarbirds will be performing tomorrow at Avogadro's Number. Crossland is one of the most popular acts in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and his combination of country, rock, and bluegrass makes him a unique act to experience. This Sunday is the second year Chase the Music has partnered with CSU music therapy students to put on 10 original music performances to honor 10 kids who are battling critical conditions. This event will be held at the UCA at 3:30. You can go to chasethemusic.org to find out more information. On April 20th, Action Bronson, along with Right Minded, will be playing at the Aggie Theater. I'm sure that'll be a good show. That same night, Esme Patterson will be at Downtown Artery, so you have options for that as well. Finally, the last weekend in April is the FOCO MX, a music festival for local northern Colorado artists that I definitely won't be missing. The festival is partnered with CSU and local bands Right Minded and Slow Caves. And Slow Caves will perform a concert at the Ramskeller April 19th from 3 to 6. Tickets for FOCO MX will be for sale at a discount price of $15 for students. School isn't over by then, but hey, that doesn't mean we can't all party and act like it is, right?
Absolutely. Well, that's all the time we've got for you tonight. Thanks again for tuning in, Rams. Later this month will be our last episode, so if you want to watch Aubrey and I get emotional live on air, you probably don't want to miss this. And spoiler alert, I'm an easy crier. All right, I'm Nate Day, and good luck in the rest of your semester.